Hello, welcome to Lay's Looking Glass. Have you ever wondered why, among billions of people, you end up believing that he or she is the one? Some people call it fate, and the Chinese say it's the work of the Old Lunar Matchmaker and his red thread. Today we'll dive into the fascinating stories behind it. In September 1990, a young woman named Maureen walked into a private clinic in Los Angeles. Maureen seemed very anxious. She had flown all the way from New York to seek treatment from the famous hypnotherapist Dr. Michael Newton. She didn't have an appointment, but Dr. Newton made time to see her. In the treatment room, Maureen started to tell her story. She's engaged to the man whom she had been dating since college. Her fiancé, Dale, is reliable and the ideal husband for her. They were planning to marry at the end of the year. But 5 months earlier, Rick met Maureen and fell in love with her at first sight. Ignoring the fact that she was already engaged, Rick was determined to win her over. Maureen, who had been resolutely loyal to Dale, found herself drawn to Rick. Rick was charismatic, and the two felt they found their soulmate. Maureen broke off her engagement with Dale and planned a wedding with Rick 5 months after they first met. Yet, as the wedding day approached, Maureen was gripped with guilt and fear. What if her feeling for Rick was just an illusion? The day before their City Hall ceremony, she took a plane across country to LA to seek Dr. Newman's help through hypnosis. Under hypnosis, Maureen began recounting a story from 1920s. She was a young woman from a wealthy family in San Francisco. On her 20th birthday, her family threw her a big party. Her fiancé, Rick, danced with her all night, and the two were a perfect pair. After the ball, Rick took Maureen for a drive along the iconic Pacific Coast Highway. Rick was driving recklessly. He was drunk and speeding. Eventually, he lost control of the car, which plunged into the Pacific Ocean. Rick, startled awake by the icy water, swam to shore, leaving Maureen struggling in the waves. A passing boat rescued her, but it was a little too late. Maureen died on her 20th birthday. The boat's captain, however, was none other than Dale's past life. When Maureen woke up from hypnosis, she uttered just one word: fate. In Buddhism, the term karmic relationships is used to describe bonds from previous existences that draw people together in this life. Karma in Eastern philosophies refers to the principle of cause and effect, whereby actions in one life influence the circumstances of future lives. The relationships we have, including marriage, are influenced by karmic relationship. Meeting someone with whom you share a significant connection might be seen as the result of a karmic bond or debt that needs to be resolved or fulfilled. In Maureen's story, her karmic relations with Rick and Dale from the previous life were carried into this life. She and Rick were attracted to each other because they were in love and were tragically separated. Although she was so strongly drawn to Rick, she felt uneasy marrying him. This is because Rick was reckless in the previous life and caused great harm to her. This explained her nervousness before the wedding. Dale was kind to her in the previous life. Although he couldn't save her, they were destined to meet again. The Chinese have a word to describe karmic relationships shaped by past life events. It's called 缘分. This concept suggests that the people you meet, especially those who play significant roles in your life, like a spouse, are not by chance, but by predetermined fate or affinity. Sometimes your last wish in the previous life can become reality in this life. Dale rescued Maureen, but it was too late. Maureen was dying. Perhaps Maureen's last wish was to thank Dale for rescuing her, and Dale was heartbroken seeing this beautiful young woman dying. Their wish became the predestined bond that they have in this life. They're destined to be husband and wife in this life. But who decides that? The divinity in charge of marriage in Chinese culture is the Old Lunar Matchmaker. He pairs couples and ties a red thread on the couple's finger when they were born. This thread symbolizes their karmic bond. It can stretch but never break. The two people connected by the red thread are destined to be husband and wife, regardless of place, time, or circumstances. There's a well-known story from the Tang Dynasty which illustrates this idea. During the reign of Emperor Xianzong, a man named Wei Gu lived near present-day Xi'an in Shanxi province. Wei Gu was born into a prominent family, enjoyed a stable government job, and had a comfortable life. However, despite his wealth and status, Wei Gu faced repeated failures in finding a wife. Frustrated, he decided to take a journey to the ancient city of Jizhou. During his travels, he stopped at a bustling inn in Shangqiu, Henan. Wei Gu thought it might be a good place to post a marriage advertisement. He announced to the travelers that he was an eligible bachelor seeking a wife. To his surprise, a local guest suggested a match, the daughter of a prominent family named Pan. Excited, Wei Gu agreed to meet the matchmaker the next morning at a temple. The next day, he arrived early at the temple, only to find an elderly man sitting on the steps, reading an odd-looking book. Curious, Wei Gu approached and asked about the book. The old man said it was a book that records the predestined marital ties of people. The old man then took out a red thread from his bag, explaining, "This thread binds destined couples from birth." Wei Gu eagerly inquired whether his red thread was connected to the Pan family's daughter. The old man laughed and replied, "No, your destined wife is a 3-year-old girl. You will marry her when she turns 17. You will have to wait 14 more years." Wei Gu was so disappointed that he challenged the old man to prove his words. So the old man led him to a marketplace. There they saw a blind, disheveled old woman holding a 3-year-old girl. Pointing at the girl, the old man said, "Look closely. This is your future wife. The red thread on her hand is connected to yours." Wei Gu's little universe exploded. What? This beggar is my future mother-in-law? And this 3-year-old with a dirty face is my wife? Wei Gu felt like the old man was just toying with him. His face turned bright red. At that moment, the old man said, "Do not have any improper thoughts. This little girl will live a life of luxury when she grows up, and her mother is of noble status." Just as he said this, a loud noise suddenly erupted from a corner of the market. Wei Gu turned his head to look. When he turned around, the old man had disappeared. Wei Gu stood on his tiptoes, looking around. Where did that annoying old man go? This old guy is ridiculous. This is too humiliating. Wei Gu was consumed by anger. After returning to the inn, he called in one of his servants and instructed him to kill the little girl, offering the servant 10,000 coins as a reward. The next day, when the servant saw the old woman and the little girl again, he drew his knife. However, this servant had not even killed a chicken before, and his aim was off. The knife grazed the little girl's forehead and fell to the ground. The girl was crying hysterically, and the old woman was wailing, so the servant fled. 14 years passed in the blink of an eye. Wei Gu had now become a middle-aged man who still hadn't found a wife. Fortunately, he had long gotten used to the life of a bachelor and had forgotten about the unhappy event in Shangqiu. That year, he went to work for Governor Wang Tai in Xiangzhou, taking a job as the chief prosecutor. The governor, who admired his talent, decided to marry his 17-year-old daughter to him. Wei Gu was so thrilled. He finally had a family with such a beautiful young bride. He was smiling in his sleep. But he noticed that his wife had a flower-shaped scar on her forehead. One day he asked her about it. The woman took a deep sigh and explained that her father had once been the magistrate of the county, and Governor Wang was her uncle. After her parents died when she was very young, she became an orphan and was raised by her wet nurse. Wei Gu suddenly remembered the reckless act he had committed over a decade ago. Could the beautiful wife in front of him really be the ugly duckling held by the blind old woman? His wife continued, "We lived in poverty. The wet nurse took me to the market to sell vegetables. One day, a madman pulled out a knife and attacked me. He left a permanent scar on my forehead." Wei Gu's face turned pale and he collapsed to the ground. His wife quickly rushed to his side. Wei Gu shamefully admitted that he was the mastermind behind the attack. He then told her the entire story about his younger years and the old ghostly man. The young woman remained silent for a moment and sighed. So fate really does exist, and it can be broken, no matter what. The above is a true story. The old man Wei Gu met at the temple was indeed the human form of the Old Lunar Matchmaker. His book records the marriages of mortals. The story perfectly illustrates the Chinese concept of predestined relationship in a marriage. In Maureen's story, she ended up marrying Dale. Years later, she met Dr. Newton at a party and thanked him for helping her discover her fate. She was a happily married woman and a mother of 2. There's one caveat though. Not all karmic relationships are positive ones, just like not all marriages are smooth. Marriage might be viewed as an opportunity for the couple's spiritual growth or to learn specific lessons related to one's own karma. Difficult marriages could be seen as karmic challenges to overcome or karmic payback, while harmonious ones might be seen as positive karmic rewards. Every couple's situation is unique. Eastern philosophies believe that through marriage, individuals work off their karma, potentially moving closer to enlightenment or a better rebirth by resolving past life issues or debts. So whether you have a challenging relationship or a rewarding one, remember, it is the right one for you. How you handle it well is the answer, and there's no escape. The same person may hunt you down next time around in the next life. There's a Chinese saying, it takes 100 years of virtuous deeds to share the same boat with someone, and 1,000 years of virtuous deeds to become husband and wife. Cherish your spouse. In Chinese, the character for predestined relationship or bond is Yuan. The meaning of the word is reflected in its structure. The character Yuan shares the same sound as Yuan, which stands for reason or cause. The left part symbolizes Si, which means stream. Literally, it means the ties that are the causes or reasons for relationships. In the next video, I'll use science to explain fate and predestined relationship. Have you ever wondered why couples look alike and the similarity between fate and quantum physics? Please subscribe and stay tuned for more. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.